hero wide receiver strategy, when you were talking about before of like depends on where you're drafting in and how that first round goes. I think this is really where I also determine if I'm picking more of the hero wide receiver, going with a hero wide receiver strategy or the hero running back strategy, because I do favor one of those most times. And I would also add in, this is kind of the same situation for in Superflex, you might have the same approach, but a hero quarterback strategy. So I think for either of those, it really depends on how that first round starts off. But what is a hero wide receiver strategy? Short and simple, because we already explained the other. It's when you really secure one of the top four. So, and I think it might even go further. Like I think with running backs, it's top 3 or 4. With wide receivers, you might get top 6 if it's really dried up on the running back of the top tier. I think there's a larger top tier for wide receiver that you could argue could jump to that top for this year. So I think that approach is like palatable, especially if you're going that route. Most likely you are at the end of the first round or middle to end, and you'll be getting one of the second tier running backs on the way back. And that's the plan there. So hero wide receiver, you want to secure your top elite wide receiver early, come back around, get one of the top running backs. And then if you swoop back around, you can get another really good running back right away. So for example, you might be going for let's say a lot of the running backs go and you get an AJ Brown or Justin Jefferson, Chase, St. Brown, those kind of players, even not even the top ones. You get one of those guys that you can have as a cornerstone, and you can come back around, get possibly a Bijan or a Gibbs if you're towards that really end of it, or an ETN, Jonathan Taylor. And then as you swing back around again, you've got our guy that we just talked about, Kyron Williams, Josh Jacobs. So you have that option there if it falls right, or at Achane, I think pushes a little bit further, where you can get 2 great running backs, but a really good wide receiver. And then you see how that plays out for the rest of the board. If you want to keep going running back, or if you want to add in the tight end or quarterback situation, I feel, and I think this is the main difference for me between hero running back and hero wide receiver is I feel that when I go hero wide receiver, I'm more okay with jumping on one of the top tight end or quarterbacks compared to if I went running back, because I have that a couple of the middle tier already, or that second tier of running back, where I feel okay, now I can just jump in and get one of the others, and there's plenty of wide receivers that I love in round 7.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing, right? Like wide receiver is so much deeper that I can see this being a super viable strategy, because I can stack in even a third running back plus my tight end and quarterback before I come back to the wide receiver position, because I'm looking just at current ADP right now. Like if I bounce in the 5th round, you're around pick 48 in a 12 team or a little bit later, right? So you still got like Amari Cooper's back there. You've got George Pickens if you're comfortable going that route, Zay Flowers. So some of these guys are some of the top guys for their teams. And that's going to be your wide receiver too, right? So you got a little bit more room to play with the hero wide receiver strategy. And I feel like this specific strategy, once you grab your top wide receiver and you got your 2 running backs, which I think is probably the position across the board that you're going to be most worried about anyway. Once you've got 2 running backs that you feel comfortable with, now you can just kind of let the board come to you. Like, go grab your guys, have fun with it, because you've got the kind of positions you're really concerned about locked in, right? Top wide receiver, my RB1 and RB2 are locked in. Now I can mess around a little bit.
I definitely panic more with 0 running back and hero running back. I have more panics in the middle rounds. And I think at the end, I guess the part of it is picking your strategy is also what's going to make you tilt less and be a little bit more solid. Because I think the difference between tilt and being flexible is the anxiety and panic that's inserted in tilting. Right. You're doing the same thing, but one's not doing it the right way or for the right reasons. So I think nothing makes me more comfortable than the hero wide receiver strategy.